The title of this video is actually correct. Serverless servers are a thing and they're actually good. But what am I talking about? So on October 3rd, the official Vercel Twitter account, I'll repeat that, the official Vercel Twitter account, so this is not a meme, posted the following. Serverless servers, Node.js within function concurrency. Node.js optimized concurrent execution model for Vercel functions. Private beta customer made on Verse reduced their compute cost by 50%. Available today as opt-in public beta with a link to the article. Now, before I go in detail of this article, I want to say that this is a pretty interesting feat of engineering and this does do a lot of cool things. However, the talking point isn't actually what was achieved here and through engineering. What's actually talked about through X or tech Twitter is the fact that Vercel chose to use serverless servers as part of this marketing ploy. Now, as you can imagine, Vercel lately hasn't maybe had the best reputation. Doing this caused essentially a shitstorm on the internet. And you can see here some of the funniest quote tweets are from Ironclad Dev. Here's two people, serverless servers, thinking it would hit. It did not hit. This most certainly did not hit. Serverless looks inside. Servers. Serverless servers looks inside. What could it be? WTF is a serverless server. Are they just throwing random keywords at this point? I also really love some of these comments from Peak. ChatGPT, generate SEO keywords and jumble them up with technical words. What even are words anymore? All we need now is serverless servers so we can self-host a serverless server on our own serverless infra. And my favorite comes from Rahul saying, serverless servers are still servers, but they aren't our server, they're their servers. We just rent their servers as serverless servers, which are servers we don't have to manage, but they are still servers. In the end, they are servers. Are you still following with me? Obviously, this caused a certain buzz, and Lee Robinson from Vercel said, I loved all the comments on serverless servers. So fun. Maybe we should actually name the product that. Really rolls off the tongue, huh? I think this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek response. Like, I will say, I'm going to get into the article and what this actually means for Lambdas and how much it could potentially save. But the fact that this is what the team chose to go with from a marketing perspective really almost footgunned them because no one's actually clicking the article. When you have a headline that's this antagonizing and this kind of hot, no one's actually going to spend the time to click on the article and read through it. Most people who are going to quote tweet this, reply, send it to their friends are just going to read this part and focus on that part, even though it may be a joke. And I know probably Vercel was thinking, this is X, this is tech Twitter. People are going to go crazy for this. But I think it kind of backfired because people went crazy for this, but not in the way they wanted to. Maybe they wanted this to lead to clicks to the article. And maybe for some people it did, but I could argue for the majority probably it didn't. Now, you don't have to take my word on the fact that this is a good feature. You can take the word of AJ, who states, literally every reputable technical person from Node.js core contributors to the PM for GCP Cloud Run all the way down to DAX, even to DAX, agreed that this is a good feature from Vercel. You think people would take the hint before piling onto the losing side of the argument. You would think so. But they didn't. And AJ is probably one of the smartest people and most knowledgeable people about Lambdas on earth. You can see here in this thread, he pulled together some of the threads and different tweets. You can see it from Dax. A lot of people will go for some easy joke about this, but it's actually quite good. Invocation memory isolation is a really killer feature, especially for async workloads, but you might not really need it in a lot of cases. Trading that off for low invocation count is a nice option. And this is from Dax. This is like the kryptonite of Vercel. Like, this is like enemy numero uno. I mean, Guillermo probably has in his office, like, do not allow on premise no matter what with his face on it. But let's kind of get into this article for just a second here and talk about what they actually did. We're sharing a first look at a new version of Vercel function with support for in-function concurrency that brings the best of servers to serverless function. We've been testing the new version with customers and are seeing a 20 to 50% reduction in compute usage and respective cost reduction without latency impact. So it goes to the history and the journey to in-function concurrency. They kind of tease about what they did, how they did it with Rust-powered functions, and how they put it all together. Now, if you're not too sure, here's a quick little diagram put together of kind of what's happening here. So let's say today you have a client that's making requests. You have 3 requests that come at the same time. And maybe you have 3 separate clients. I don't know. Bear with me. Typically today, these requests would go to 3 individual Lambda sandboxes. 3 because it's 3 requests. So it's a 1-to-1 mapping. Now, each of these individual Lambda sandboxes would take the time to process the request. Let's say it's 100 milliseconds of compute to do this. So it processes all 3 requests individually, making the total request time or response time 300 milliseconds. Now, with this new approach, serverless servers, you have multiple requests going to one Lambda sandbox that can handle these requests concurrently, so at the same time. So even though you have 3 requests where individually it requires 100 milliseconds of computation, the Lambda sandbox can handle all 3 of these at once, making the invocation total processing time about 100 milliseconds, the time one of these requests would take. And I put a little, approximation is probably, sometimes channels get full or something like that. So it's not going to always be the speed of one of the requests, but it could be somewhere around that. And the article actually even states this. So you can see here, for example, let's say a request takes 100 milliseconds with 50 milliseconds spent on computation and 50 milliseconds waiting for a backend response. The old model, 2 requests would require a total of 200 milliseconds of compute time, where the new model, 2 requests could be handled by 1 invocation, reducing the actual compute time to 100 milliseconds. So that's about it for this video. I kind of want to give you guys the breakdown of what's happening. The title, I think, really hurt Vercel here. Again, you guys know me, Dax, even AJ probably aren't the biggest supporters of Vercel. And they had to convince me, well, AJ convinced me that this is actually a good request because I was also kind of blinded by the title. Looking into it, it's great, but I know I'm not the only one, and I think this kind of backfired on Vercel. Hopefully, they got enough people converting to clicks on the article, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think serverless servers is actually a good name? Do you think Vercel kind of fumbled the ball here? Let me know. I'm very curious, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!